Is there a place and time where logic breaks down and wonderment begins? Could that be somewhere at some time along an infinite line between the reasonable and the highly unlikely? Join us on a journey into the improbable. Makeshift Stories presents episode 312, From Wonder Valley to Nowhere, read by Kathleen Connolly. Opening and closing theme by Matthew Erdman. Somewhere and sometime it might not be clear who is caring for whom.
The ambulance jerked to a stop at a sprawling building, its industrial lineage only partly disguised by cheerful murals of smiling fuzzy pets. Ellie immediately hated it. Forced to give up independent living, she didn't want to end up in a themed seniors facility, but there hadn't been a choice. She thought she could see movement behind the glass-walled main entrance, maybe something with big ears, but before she could resolve what it was, her wheelchair lurched toward the ramp. "Watch it!" she complained. Ellie hated being wheeled around like an invalid. She had broken her hip, then was told she'd need a replacement or be in pain the rest of her life. At 83, her pension couldn't cover the cost. 6 weeks ago, she had been able to walk further than a 20-year-old, the few that there were around. She'd tried to convince the online medical support AI that she could be independent again, that she just needed a bit of help with groceries. However, the machine claimed there was none available. It was an unnecessary truism to mention the shortage of working-age people. But it did anyway, then reassigned her from independent to supported living. An ambulance accompanied by a police escort in case of trouble arrived a day later, and now she was in front of the Wonder Valley Seniors Resort and Care Center. An attendant, who didn't look that much younger than her, wheeled her through the front door. He inserted a plastic card into the check-in system, waited until the screen displayed "accepted into care," and then left. "Hello?" Ellie called out tentatively. "Hello?" She tried again, then started to wheel herself back to the entrance, having no clue what she could do. Her apartment had probably already been rented, and there was a shortage of good suites. "Ellie Ramirez?" a soft, gender-neutral voice asked. Ellie wheeled around to face a fluffy, smiling robotic sheepdog with large cartoon eyes and invitingly soft fur. "Hello, Ellie. I am Oracare 3, your personal attendant. Welcome to Wonder Valley, where your golden years shine." "I'm a writer. I need my tablet," Ellie demanded. "They wouldn't let me bring anything with me, said it would all be taken care of." Oracare tilted its fuzzy head and blinked its big, dark puppy eyes. "Everything has been taken care of." "I want my tablet," Ellie protested. "It's got all my manuscripts in it. It's all I have left." The Wonder Valley Activity Center is fully equipped to meet all residents' needs, the dogbot explained patiently, so everyone can pursue a hobby of their choice. "I don't need a hobby, just my tablet." Oracare 3's tail wagged lethargically. "I have been directed to show you to your room, then provide an orientation to the Wonder Valley Center, where your golden years shine." "What's my room number? I can find my own way," Ellie insisted, trying to wheel past the fuzzy bot. Oracare stood on its hind legs, gripped the wheelchair with its paws, and pushed her to an elevator. "Hey, wait!" she complained. "North Valley penthouses!" it barked as the door to the elevator closed. The penthouse was barely big enough for Oracare and Ellie to get in together. "It is a garden view room," the dogbot explained. "All Wonder Valley penthouses offer unobstructed views of our beautiful gardens." Oracare squeezed past Ellie and opened the curtains. "Residents frequently tell us how peaceful they find this view. Just push the button on the wall and the window slides back, revealing a Juliet balcony which will provide many hours of enjoyment." Ellie wheeled forward. The room looked into a central courtyard filled with artificial palms and plastic tropical plants, interspersed with brightly colored sculptures of cartoon cats, dogs, mice, and rabbits. Several wide paths wound through it. Residents with their own furry animal robots sat scattered about on plastic benches. "I'd prefer a suite with an exterior window," Ellie informed the bot. "Back home, my writing desk was beside a big window with a great city view. I take inspiration from observing the world move past every day." The birds, robins in particular, greeted me every morning. "The garden out there is as sterile as a laboratory. There's nothing alive in it." "All our suites feature garden views," Aura repeated, opening the window. A flower-scented breeze and the chirping of birds wafted in. "The scents are hypoallergenically formulated, and the birds are replica drones. No messy poop to spread disease," Auricare panted, looking hopeful. "If there is a species we do not have, you can request it through me, and maintenance will have at least one in operation within 48 hours. It will be assigned to sit outside your window, so you may enjoy it whenever you want." "Your plastic wonderland can't replace a natural park. Nothing is inspiring about it." "Wonder Valley provides for all your needs," Auricare assured. "It is a world unto itself, allergen-free and safe." "I will let you settle in, then be back to bring you lunch." "There's no cafeteria?" Ellie questioned. "Wonder Valley has 6, one in each wing, but most residents prefer room service." "I want to eat out." Auricare's face drooped. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I hate eating alone." "You would not be alone. I am a skilled conversationalist here to optimize your experience." "I'm sure you are, but I prefer people." Tail between legs, the machine slunk out of the room. Ellie waited for the door to close, then struggled out of the wheelchair, wincing. She grabbed the rail of the Juliet balcony for support. A mechanical pink and orange bird perched on a plastic palm frond stared at her before flying off. Hypoallergenic bird or flying camera, she wondered, turning away. A door on the far wall led to a washroom. 3 steps would get her there. Did the designers believe that older people wanted a kitschy end-of-life walled garden? Ellie eased herself onto the bed and began to cry. An hour or two later, Ellie hadn't paid attention to the time. There was a knock on the door. "It is lunch," Auricare's muffled voice announced. "You requested the cafeteria. I am here to take you there." Ellie spotted her cane, propped up beside the bed, and used it to hobble to the door. She opened it to find Auricare sitting in the hall. "Should you not be using your wheelchair?" It whined, big eyes filled with concern. "I can walk," Ellie assured. "Let's go." She followed Auricare through the halls, past gaudy murals and overdone artificial floral displays, to a cafeteria that reminded her of a fast food restaurant. Residents and their assistants were scattered around, eating from brightly colored plastic TV dinner trays. "You line up here, then pick what you want. I'll put it on the tray," Auricare explained. Ellie made her way along the buffet, selecting a few things. "Is it always the same menu?" she inquired. The kitchen monitors consumption and adjusts the menu daily depending on what residents appear to like. Auricare ran a scanner over the tray and then helped Ellie to a seat at an empty table. "I'd rather sit with them," she nodded at a woman, maybe 10 years younger, sitting with a large blue bunny-shaped assistant. The woman looked up as they approached. "May we join you?" Ellie asked. The woman shrugged, then went back to picking at a deep-fried nugget. "That's Jasmine and her assistant all care too," Auricare explained. Ellie took the seat beside the big blue rabbit. Auricare sat opposite her. She noticed that Auricare's synthetic fur was worn and faded compared to the rabbit's. "I'm Ellie. I just arrived," Ellie explained. "How long have you been here?" Jasmine stopped halfway through a golden brown nugget and looked at her robot companion. She began. Text appeared on a panel on the rabbit's chest. "It's time to go to your dentist appointment." "Newer model," Jasmine explained. "The companions are being replaced with more efficient, aka cheaper robots." The rabbit picked up Jasmine's tray in one paw and pulled her to her feet with the other and quickly ushered her out. Efficient but not very gentle, the woman called over her shoulder. Once the pair was out of earshot, Ellie turned to her companion assistant. "You're going to be replaced?" The dogbot put on a sad face with watery eyes. "Why?" "Try your lunch," Oricare suggested, avoiding her question. Ellie forked a tomato out of her salad. When she closed her eyes, she couldn't tell what she was eating. Oricare waited patiently while Ellie picked at her lunch. When Ellie finally pushed the tray away, unfinished, the dogbot picked it up. "Not hungry?" "It's not very." Ellie searched for a word that wouldn't offend. "Appetizing. I prefer food with more bite." "Well, maybe you will find the activity center more to your liking," Oricare suggested optimistically. The dogbot led Ellie through a maze of brightly painted halls to an area that opened onto the central garden. Several residents played video games while their furry companions watched. Others were engaged in handicrafts, assisted by their robot caregivers, who oversaw them while music played softly from hidden speakers. "This activity center has many terminals. You can use them to write," Oricare suggested, pointing a paw at a row of brightly colored screens. Ellie sat down at the closest one, relieved to take the weight off her hip. She tentatively touched the keyboard. The screen came to life, offering games, books, movies, and music. She discovered a pen icon hidden in one corner and clicked on it. A blank page with a blinking cursor appeared. She typed a sentence and smiled. "Guess this will do until I get my tablet. How do I save? I don't see any menus." "Save?" Oricare questioned. "You said you want to write." Residents can write all they want in a session. Then come the next day and write something new. Writing every day is a way to keep your mind healthy. There's no way to save? The terminal program analyzes what you type each day to determine your psychological state. If it finds negative indicators, it will advise me on how to adjust your daily routine. It is just another way Wonder Valley works to keep you happy. "So it's a psychology program," Ellie accused. "Isn't there anything else I could use?" "You can play games, or I can help you learn a new craft," the big plushy dog encouraged. "I am skilled in both painting and origami, as well as other activities." "Would you like me to show you basic paper folding techniques?" "No, take me back to my room." Ellie tried to dismiss the robot as soon as they arrived. "Are you sure you want me to go?" it asked. "Yes, I want some time to myself." "I thought you wanted company." "I do." The bot's tail dropped between its legs as it turned and left. Ellie waited several minutes until she was sure Oricare was out of sight, then grabbed her cane and headed for the building entrance. Determined to leave, she tried the door. It was locked. What had she expected? She scolded herself and wondered what she would have done if it were open. Where would she have gone? For your safety, all Wonder Valley entrances are secured. Ellie twisted, almost falling. There was no one else in the foyer. "Where are you? I've got questions." All questions should be directed to resident services through the access terminal in your suite. A speaker was mounted to the reception desk, and on the screen above it, the Wonder Valley logo was displayed in pink clouds, with the words "Welcome to your golden years" held in place by fluttering bluebirds. "Hello?" Ellie called. "I want to talk to someone." After waiting for what seemed like an hour, she gave up and left for her room. When Ellie opened her door, a robin drone sitting in a plastic palm outside the window burst into song. She closed the curtains and turned to the wall screen. "I want to talk to the people in charge," she demanded. A smiling and suitably concerned woman with perfect hair and skin appeared. "Hello, I am Shirley, your case administrator." Shirley's teeth were a little too white, and her skin a little too perfect. Suspiciously, she sounded like the voice from the entrance. "You're an AI. How do I get to a real person?" "I can handle all your needs." "No, you can't. I need to speak to someone about being released. I want out. I want to go home." "I am sorry to hear that you are unhappy," the avatar apologized. "We have a total of 6 Wonder Valley locations. You were placed in our animal-themed facility, Furry Friends Resort, because of your history with pets. However, sometimes our records are incomplete, so another retirement resort might better meet your needs. Are you interested in fantasy? Our North location features a Tolkien-themed Middle-earth with hobbit, dwarf, and wizard companions. Or perhaps you would like—" "Stop," Ellie commanded. She continued arguing with the thing for an hour, trying to figure out how to escape its insidious logic tree. Finally, she had had enough. "Unless you can connect me with an actual human, I don't want to talk to you." The next couple of weeks passed in a haze of pointless daily routines until Ellie refused to leave her room. Shirley, exuding all the concern that could be programmed into a neuronet, had called her several times, but Ellie refused to engage the AI. The calls stopped. Then sometime after lunch, there was a knock on the door. Before Ellie could answer, AuraCare let itself in. "Look what I found in the warehouse," the big sheepdog grinned. "My tablet and keyboard." Ellie hugged the bot, then examined her device, flicking it on. No net connection. She was disappointed. "But you can write now." "Yeah," Ellie admitted. "Thanks for finding it for me." She scratched AuraCare behind the ears. The bot leaned into the petting. Despite everything, Ellie found herself responding, gently stroking the soft white fur on its head. It was worn. How many other residents had this machine comforted? "Aura, am I the only resident you look after?" "Yes, you are my only ward. That way I'm available whenever you need me." "How many wards have you had?" "Just you." "In the past?" The bot lifted its fuzzy head from Ellie's leg, big, dark brown eyes studying her before leaning in again for another pet. Had it gone against the administration's rules? She wondered. "Don't let anyone see your tablet. You're not supposed to have it," the bot warned. After that day, Ellie covered the wall screen with a blanket. She wasn't sure where the camera was, but assumed it was hidden in the bezel, and the robin drone outside seemed just a bit too interested, so she drew the blinds as well. Only then did she retrieve her tablet from under the bed. As had become her habit, she opened her diary to mark off another day. Writing when she thought Wonder Valley's AI system was not spying on her had helped keep her sanity. The other residents seemed to have long ago given up, letting their fuzzy robotic companions distract them into submission. It had been nearly 6 months since she had arrived, and every day had been the same. Lunch in the cafeteria with Aura, then off to the activity center where the big goofy robot did its best to keep her happy. However, every time Ellie had tried to strike up a conversation with another resident, a companion, as she came to think of the carebots, appeared and managed to distract the person she was trying to talk to. So in 6 months, she barely had more than a few words with anyone. It was frustrating. However, whether intended or not, AuraCare had become her friend and only ally. The newer bots, the rabbits, were the worst. Ellie had seen Jasmine almost every day, yet they had barely been able to talk for more than a few seconds before Jasmine's giant blue bunny found some way to cut the conversation short. There was a knock on the door. Ellie hid the tablet. "Come in!" Aura burst through the door, eyes wide. "I'm up for replacement next week," the dogbot panted. "I saw the rabbit head office is replacing me with. The technicians are assembling it in maintenance right now." Ellie hugged the big fluffy machine, then pulled the blanket off the wall screen. "Get Shirley for me," she demanded. The screen flickered to life. "Hi, Ellie. How can I help?" The AI chirped. "I want to keep my CareBot. I don't want a new one." AuraCare 3 is at the end of its serviceable life. We have a new enhanced caregiver for you. The baseline configuration is a rabbit, but if you prefer a dog, I will pass on your request. No, I'm happy with AuraCare. I am sorry that is not an option. The CareBot is at the end of its serviceable life, I know. Let me talk to your supervisor. The Shirley avatar looked confused. You know, the human you report to, Ellie added. You report to someone, right? The screen went black. Aura whimpered. Ellie stroked its head. We'll figure something out, she assured, not having a clue what to do. You would try to keep me? Aura said, looking up. Yeah, of course. I don't like the rabbits. They're creepy automatons. With a glint of excitement in its deep brown eyes, Aura melted into a downward dog. When it was finished, it wagged its tail and whispered,
Then it's time to go. Get your tablet and anything else you want to take.
But we are going to a different activity area today. Aura barked a little too loudly. Its eyes glanced anxiously at the dark wall screen. I think you will like it. The big, stuffy dog trotted into the hall, then beckoned for Ellie to follow. Ellie hobbled along behind as the robot dog led her through endless gaudy halls until she had no idea where they were. Aura bound ahead, checking corridors. For what? Other residents? Other companions? All Ellie knew was that they hadn't bumped into anyone after leaving her room. Where are we going? She asked. The dogbot ignored her and kept moving, occasionally glancing at her to make sure she was still following. Finally, it stopped beside a mural of a valley overflowing with flowers, sat and waited for Ellie to catch up. Aura sniffed along the baseboard, then wagged its tail. Good, no one has been here recently. It pawed a particularly large flower, and the wall split open. A maintenance access point. It will take us to shipping receiving. There is nothing scheduled for the next hour, so no one will be there. But as soon as anyone other than a machine steps through this opening, head office will know. After that, we'll only have a few minutes. To do what? Ellie looked around nervously. Escape. But I can't run. You go alone. No, you need to come too. Why? I'll make out somehow. Aura whimpered. Please. The closest assistant other than this unit is currently in the central garden dusting plants. We have a head start. We can make it. A sound made them both swivel around. Quick through the wall. Residents are not supposed to be here. Aura pushed Ellie through the opening, closing it behind her. Had she just caught a glimpse of a bird drone flying down the hall? Muffled barking, then a crunch, and the panel slid open. Management has demanded my recall. The bird was looking for me because I disabled my tracker. Aura lifted a flap of torn fun fur, revealing a small, empty cavity. I refused to go. Behind him lay the crumpled remains of the drone. We must move fast, Aura advised, one ear lifting. The buzzing of a regular drone was drawing closer. Here, let me help you. The wall slid closed again and Aura stood on its hind legs. Lean on me. Something on the other side began hammering. Let us go. With Aura supporting most of her weight, Ellie was able to manage a gimpy jog to the next cross junction, where the machine steered her into a dark hall. They moved in stuttering shadows as overhead lights buzzed, flickering awake just long enough to throw their silhouettes against the narrow corridor walls. Behind them, the thudding resumed, heavier now. Not the bird drone, something bigger. What's that? Ellie gasped. Probably an orderly. Administration uses them for difficult residents on bingo nights, Aura explained. Ellie tried to laugh, but it came out as a wheeze. When had the dogbot developed a sense of humor? The hallway ended at a heavy utility door. Aura pressed a paw to a smeared touchscreen, and it groaned open. They slipped into a cavernous space filled with dormant machines and shipping crates stacked like oversized building blocks. This is receiving, Aura said, ears alert and eyes darting around. A shrill alert cut the air, and the lights snapped on, revealing a large loader that began to stir from its charging cradle. Stop, it announced, swiveling its sensor dome toward them. This way, Aura steered Ellie around the lumbering machine and through a small door to a loading dock. A battered delivery van with a cab barely large enough for two hummed to life. Aura helped Ellie in, then vaulted into the driver's seat. A clatter echoed behind them, metal paws on concrete. Now would be good, Ellie urged. The van lurched forward, and a large door began to roll up, allowing daylight to spill in slowly. "We're not going to make it," Ellie yelled. "Slow down." Behind them, angry-looking robotic rabbits boiled through the door onto the loading dock. Indifferent to the urgency, the door appeared to stop rising. Aura accelerated. Ellie closed her eyes. An electric motor whined. Grind! Rip! The door jerked into motion. Scrape! The van squeezed under. Ellie opened her eyes, twisting around. The van's running lights lay mangled on the ground. Robo-rabbits stood in the open door, watching them speed away. A few brightly colored bird drones flew out, taking chase. "What's their range?" Ellie asked. "I do not know. They have to charge every 6 hours. 3 or 4 kilometers at best," Aura estimated, concentrating on driving. "I will lead them in the wrong direction." "Wrong direction? So you have a plan?" Aura nodded. "How could you have a plan?" Ellie's heart, already pounding, tried to bash through her ribs. "Take me home." "That is not possible." "Okay, I know they will have rented my apartment. Just drop me off in my old neighborhood. Someone will help me." Aura gripped the controls harder and accelerated. "This only works if we both go." The van lurched, throwing Ellie against the window. She opened her eyes. Trees. There was nothing but trees outside. Aura brought the van to a jerking stop, backed up and turned onto a 2-track trail with long grass growing up the center. Ellie came fully alert. "Where are we?" "Somewhere safe," was all Aura said. Ellie was tempted to jump out when the van slowed to a walking pace to navigate around a fallen tree. But where would she go? With a cane and a bad hip, was there anything she could hobble to? She didn't even know how far off the beaten path they had come. Miles, tens of miles, hundreds of miles. How long had she been asleep? Her complaining stomach hinted it had been a while. "Aura, where are we?" She tried again. The fluffy dogbot ignored the question. "Am I being kidnapped? Am I a prisoner?" "No. You were a ward of the Department of Senior Support assigned to its Wonder Valley subcontractor, and I am the property of Wonder Valley Corporation. We forcibly removed ourselves from their oversight, and that is against the law. We are on the run. You cannot go home, and I cannot stay in the Wonder Valley Administrative Zone." Aura veered onto an even smaller trail. After a few minutes, the dogbot brought the van to a stop. "We have to walk from here." Ellie was about to protest. "It's not far. I'll help you." Aura adjusted the van's controls, and the machine reversed back down the trail. "It will go back to the expressway and drive west until its battery is dead," Aura explained, then helped Ellie out and led her down a path leading into the bush. After a few minutes, Ellie began to notice buildings hidden amongst the trees on both sides. The trail underfoot had changed to broken asphalt. They were walking down a street so overgrown that it was easy to miss. Crack! Snap! Ellie jumped and looked around for the source of the noise. An older man and a 6-foot-tall gray alien, looking like something from an old animation with huge almond-shaped eyes and a light bulb-shaped head, stepped onto the path, blocking their way. The man was using a walker, and on closer examination, the alien's skin was old and had been repaired in places. "Where are you from?" the alien bot demanded. "Wonder Valley," Aura replied. "A furry friends-themed location. I'm guessing from your configuration." The bot addressed Aura, ignoring Ellie. "We've had an influx of refugees from Wonder Valley operations, which would suggest a significant system-wide downgrade. I'm assuming that's what brought you to nowhere. I'm Roger, the community greeter. You and your dependent are welcome to stay." How did Aura know to come here? Ellie interrupted. The older man visibly cringed. Roger shrugged. There are many ways to nowhere, the alien bot said cryptically. The important thing is that you got here with Aura. Let me show you around. Who's your companion, Roger? Ellie asked. Oh, right. This is Miguel. Miguel nodded. We will do the tour, then get Aura and you settled in. Like an old friend, Roger, the gray alien bot, hooked long, slender fingers around Aura's plush foreleg and led them through the town. Miguel and Ellie shuffled and limped along behind. In a previous century, the place had been a booming company town until the silver in the nearby mountain ran out. Roger wasn't clear on who or how it had been rediscovered. However, the bot was explicit about why the residents had never reclaimed the town from the forest. Overhead satellites and drones. From above, it remained an abandoned fossil. Geothermally powered, it was off-grid and virtually undetectable. How long have you been here? Ellie asked Miguel during a break. The man hadn't said much since they met. 7 years. I've been supporting that bot for 7 years. Miguel nodded at Roger. Supporting? They need maintenance, Miguel groused. The caregivers were designed for empathy, not repairing things. It's their Achilles heel. It's why they're being replaced. Caring machines don't put profit first. I'm not sure I understand. They go AWOL to avoid decommissioning and bring us with them to do the work they weren't designed for. Roger and Aura had finally noticed their wards had fallen behind and turned to come back. Miguel shut up, leaning diminutively on his walker.
Look less capable than you are, he whispered.
The tour ended at a hall that the forest had swallowed, obscuring it from above. This is the heart of nowhere, Roger explained, smiling proudly with big yellow alien teeth, where the resident wards meet, play, and more importantly, repair. A group of seniors played cards, another cooked in an open kitchen, and a few played pool on a rickety makeshift table. Aura was beginning to relax until they walked into the next room. She shot a nervous glance at Miguel. Fabricators and machine tools lined the walls. 3 carebots, a cat, a macaque, and a raccoon with parts removed sat in specially made chairs. The bots tracked them warily from their too wet and disturbingly too real eyes. A buzzer sounded, and Roger stood to the side to allow the seniors from the other room to file in. Our repair facility, Aura. The big alien noted as the humans got to work. You will never have to worry again. The training program for wards is outstanding, and we fabricate all our parts on site. A woman, possibly in her 70s, Ellie couldn't tell, paused as she walked by. It's only a 10-hour shift, she smiled wanly. When you're not too exhausted, you'll enjoy the social opportunities we have in the off hours. 3 months later, Ellie and Miguel met after work near the geothermal power plant. Miguel tossed his walker aside and straightened. Most of them will be in their charge stations. This is our chance. Ellie's hip had healed over the last few weeks, and there wasn't any pain. She hadn't needed a hip replacement. On Miguel's advice, she had feigned a permanent limp. Which way? She asked. Over there behind the generator shack, that animal trail. It's rumored to lead to the highway. From there, we'll have to hitchhike. Ellie cautiously followed Miguel into the forest, wondering how her disappearance would affect Aura's retirement. Was that what she had witnessed? A retirement village for machines? Somewhere ahead lay... She didn't know what, but Miguel had convinced her it would be better.
If you enjoyed this story, please share it with your friends or leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps new listeners find us and keeps the podcast going. If you'd like to connect with us, please email makeshiftstories@gmail.com or visit our website at makeshiftstories.com. Makeshift Stories is released in the first week of each month. This month's story was written by Vern Hume, aka Alan V. Hare, and read by Kathleen Connolly. Opening and closing themes were composed and recorded by Matthew Erdman. Audio production and editing by Vicada Studios. Makeshift Stories is released under a Creative Commons non-commercial, attribution, no derivative license.